With angel saints I lift my voice and fall on bended knee. A humble soul I come up to receive. Though my eyes cannot see God's might and majesty, faith fills up this need, and my heart does believe.
Hey.
There it is. Guys, I sang.
Oh my, wait. Oh, all right, guys.
Welcome.
We've made it. We made it to
February 25th.
Yes, we did.
The most epic day ever.
Why is it epic?
Because it's today.
Because it's today.
There's no time like the present.
I'm not going to lie. Today has been a really interesting day.
No, it's been one of the best days we've had in a long time.
Actually, yes.
Yeah, I got here really early. I got here at like 11:30 and did homework. That's how my time started.
Well, I answered a door for Nicole, and
Did you do laundry?
I did laundry.
There it is.
I will say, the Tide Pod comes in very handy for small loads and relative loads.
I don't use Tide Pods. And then Michael,
Yeah, I started my day at like 2:30 a.m.
Yeah, what?
Well, just for my morning shift. Yeah. So, no, it's great. You get your work done early, and then it's you're out early too. So
Here's my question: when do you sleep?
I sleep whenever I get the chance.
That's basically when he comes home, because he gets home by noon, and then he'll just crash, and I won't be there, and that's all.
I'll literally crash as long as I need to.
Really?
Yeah.
What did you say about your brothers, or whoever said this? I specifically can't remember. Like that, I split my day up because I sleep in the afternoon. And I keep a late night schedule. It's like a European thing.
Oh yeah, that's kind of what they do to break up the day. It's almost like you have 2 half days instead of just 1 day. So.
But like, isn't your schedule not normal? Like, consistent?
No, it's consistent. It's actually very consistent
Oh.
as of like 2 weeks now. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did some music, but then we got to go to mass, which was really cool. But then we also
It's not just very cool. It's the sole purpose of what cool is.
it's the coolest.
Like
not gonna
Padre
lie.
Pio, cool.
Hashtag I don't have my Padre Pio mug. Mary.
There you go. It's the source and summon of our faith. But still, that's for another day.
Anyways.
Okay, sorry. Back to what we were talking about.
There we go.
So we went to a sister's convent.
This is so cool. We have like, what do you call them? A roadie? No.
Kind of.
We have an official tech person.
We have a tech person. But basically, we got to go to this convent, and these sisters, and it's kind of cool because the convent has, what do they say, multi order? So there's multiple orders living in this convent. Yeah. But there are 2 sisters from Vietnam, and they made us dinner, and it was like authentic Vietnamese food.
Yeah, so as we were saying, pho, it's soupy, as Michael likes to call it. It's hot soup broth that cooks your meat.
But then with like a rice noodle.
Yeah, and it also has a bunch of like vegetables, like bean sprouts, and honestly, whatever other leafy things they had that I didn't know the names for.
I've never had ginger in a soup before.
I mean, it's very traditional for most Asians.
It just made me think of Christmas, and then it was like wet. I don't know.
True.
I had never heard of this before.
Yeah, so. And the cool thing was like they had different sauces, but probably the most entertaining thing, because like I don't do spicy food, but they had this like sauce that apparently was extremely spicy.
Yeah, it's like a Thai chili paste, or like a hot sauce, but more in like the thickness of soy. You would almost say.
Yeah.
But then going back, it's like, who puts hot sauce in soup? That was.
Don't knock it till we tried it.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really good.
It kind of is like in a ketchup bottle, but it's not ketchup. Right? But you put a lot in it.
Yeah, sure.
So, how was that experience putting all that spiciness in your pho?
It wasn't as hot as the hottest wings I've ever had, but it was hot, very hot.
Yeah, it was cayenne based. Punchki, by the way.
Speaking of food.
Speaking about multicultural over here.
That's a fatty Polish donut.
Yeah, that's right. So it was really cool. And then you had like a Vietnamese pepper, and that was funny too.
Very hot.
Yeah.
Apparently, she said she got it from her freezer, so you didn't initially notice it. And then I saw I legit saw like you were getting like that tear in your eye look.
It's a perfect spice if you start to tear up and you get a snotty nose.
Fair enough.
But it was frozen. The peppers were frozen, so like you couldn't get the full effect until it was like 2 minutes after you ate it, and you're like, oh my gosh.
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't eat spice, but it was really cool to kind of be in a convent with sisters that just like were real.
Right. Exactly. And they were funny and they were sarcastic.
They talked about their language, and they were some of them were still learning English, so it was really cool.
Yeah, because like one thing I hear a lot is, well, sisters aren't real people.
Wait.
They're real.
I've
No,
never
I
heard of
literally
that.
hear this from the kids I work with. They're like, well, sisters aren't real people. They just walk around in habits and do nothing else.
And you also get the generation that's like, they hit you with rulers and
Yeah,
stuff.
right.
It's like you get the Franciscan sisters vibe.
I also get, do they exist?
I think of Felicians.
Oh, no, they do.
Mm-hmm.
The Franciscan friars do. I have like a 9-year-old lady that comes to my work and shops there. She's out and about, and that's a secular job.
There it is. It's just really cool to like be around sisters that just like, oh, I want to serve you and I want to like, I don't know, hang out with you and talk to you and get to know you. And
But they're not lonesome.
No, they're hanging out with each other and we just got invited.
Exactly.
They're real people, which is really awesome. I really liked it too because I think it's super powerful that we're part of a church that's multicultural and multi-country.
True.
I've been to Spain before, where I've seen the church, and that was a cool experience. Now Michael, you've traveled.
It was interesting to say, to tell the Sisters of Charity that I had been to actually the convent in Paris, where St. Catherine of Labouré is incorrupt. And they were like, oh, we haven't gone there yet. We hope to go there. So
They really?
I've been somewhere that they haven't. But they're like the Flying Sisters, the Sisters of Charity.
That's amazing.
So
That's awesome. I didn't even realize didn't get to see that.
that's what they said. They
Wow.
said they want to go.
Incorruptible, if anybody doesn't know, means what exactly?
It means the person does not decay after death.
It sounds freaking weird, but the whole point is
It is freaking weird.
But it
is weird.
But it's cool in the respects of a miracle.
Yeah, it's actually
In real
considered.
life.
It's considered a miracle of the church.
Yeah, it's a real life
It
experience.
happens all over the place. The weirdest incorrupt stories that I heard was in Gaming, Austria. There's Carthusian monks over there.
Love
And there's
Carthusians.
a cemetery there. But the thing is, when they're buried, they don't put the names on there. And
So
so,
then-
they started excavating some of these tombs. But they found like several incorrupt monks there. But they couldn't
But there's
start
no
a canonization process or anything just because they don't have names or anything.
Oh.
And
Oh, I
so
heard
they
about
just put
that.
them back and they're just incorrupt saints that
Yeah.
no one knows about.
Those poor saints.
So, in other words, it's like the idea, let's say, I'm never probably going to be a saint, but there's an example of an idea that I could be a saint, so blah, blah, blah. I die, my hand doesn't disappear.
Yeah.
It's
Doesn't-
it doesn't decay.
Yeah, and some saints, it's like their whole body. It's just their head. It's like,
St. Teresa of Avila's head.
yeah, right?
It's in Italy. And
Really?
it's just like
yeah, there's certain saints where certain parts of them don't corrupt.
think about like a puzzle.
I mean, what I know for certain is that you don't want to be an incorrupt Italian saint.
Because you're
they'll-
on display.
Well, they're going to tear you to pieces, too.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Hannibal Lecter, I guess.
I have not had the grace to see an incorrupt saint before, but I could imagine it's probably really weird.
The privilege.
Have you seen an incorrupt saint?
A few.
Whoa. Who have you seen?
Did you see Padre Pio at all?
Well, St. Catherine of Labouré is one.
There you go.
Sisters of Charity.
There you go.
And then you have Pope John the 23rd in the St. Peter's Basilica in Rome.
That's
He's
true.
also-
Yep.
And then there are a few others, too.
You just saw a few?
St. Catherine of Labouré is one in New York City. No. St. Francis Cabrini, sorry.
Was there anybody in Poland when you went?
They did bring for World Youth Day his Pier Giorgio Fossati, but he is not incorrupt.
Oh, he's not?
So if you shook...
But he's a
Do we
bro.
have to talk about this?
No, long story short, he's a bro. He's a bro.
Sorry. So that's, really interesting. That's cool, Catholic things. But yeah, I really love the fact that just like we exist throughout the world.
Yeah, we're
it's not just like here and that's it.
Yeah, no, it's not just we do it for the sakes of just doing it. There's a lot to it.
Oh yeah.
So if anybody is wondering, it is Lent at the time of this recording, but at the same time, this is also essentially Sunday, so I'm
Yeah,
having a
it-
donut.
Yeah, it's our vigil day,
Because-
so we can.
Yeah,
If you-
at what time does that happen? After the sun sets?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, well, technically, like
Like a-
after you would pray the vigil,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Liturgy of the Hours.
Yeah.
Is when that
If
would
you want to
begin
take it super
happen.
seriously, you could do it after sunset.
Yeah. We also, that's why we can do mass, like vigil masses on Saturday, because technically the vigil masses count as Sunday. So you can use your dispensation or use your whatever from that point on.
Exactly.
Yeah, but also I can't tell you how excited I am to not be doing Exodus this year. Exodus
Fair enough.
90 is an amazing program, but after 3 years, it's like, it's time just to do a normal Lent.
I totally
So
get that.
nice.
Ryan, did you do Exodus 92?
I've never done Exodus, and my friend, one of my closer friends, has done it. And his main focus on what he always says, great program, not for everyone, and it's also a program you're paid for. So, nothing truly wrong with it. It's just a very strong practice that might not be healthy for everyone, but it's a very nice aesthetical practice.
Yeah, you have to have a reason to do it.
Yeah, and it's a 90-day program, hence the name. 90.
As opposed to just 40. I mean, like Lent, actually, like if you count up the days, Sundays don't actually count towards those 40 days. And so Sundays are supposed to be a day of just like an exemption and giving it to the Lord. So.
And I'm a girl, so I can't do Exodus 90.
But they have Fiat.
They have Fiat 90, yes. So Exodus 90 is a program for men. I've clearly can never or do it, but I know a lot of people that have. And there's fun things like cold showers, and you can't use technology, and many other things, rules, right, that you have to do.
Yes, it's very intentional.
But Fiat 90 is the girl version. I've never done that either, and it's kind of a newer thing. I know the person that made it, actually.
Oh, cool.
And
I think for me what's really interesting this year is just to see back at the parish, some of the younger guys just going at it. Is like, I just have a lot of respect for anyone that does it. Especially
yeah, we
like,
have some young guys doing it.
it's really cool.
Do you know who's running it this year?
At Greg's?
Or in general?
Well, at my parish, Gregory James is running a group. And it's actually a lot of the younger male core members on my core team that is doing Exodus 90.
Okay.
Which is really cool.
That's
I don't know
awesome.
about other parishes. I just know what's at my parish.
Doing
yeah.
cold showers in Buffalo, New York with our winters. That's impressive.
Are you sure that's not fun?
Not
Well,
really.
you get used to it,
Oh, you
honestly.
get used to it.
But
I've done a cold shower here and there. It's not fun.
I love warm showers very much, so that would not work for me.
well, okay. Good question. Bouncing off of that, what are you guys doing for Lent?
Okay.
Oh, actually, I just was talking to someone about this. So for Lent, for me, I'm not actually like okay. For me, for Lent, I'm trying to be much more intentional with my time. I can find a lot of times I waste time with like scrolling or just chilling, and I could be doing that with prayer or just, being a little more productive and intentional with my time. I do work a lot, and I have very busy schedules, but I want to make sure that I'm focusing more time that I have on the Lord. So a lot more time in prayer, and like when I can pray at work, like actually do it, not just like, oh, I'm just gonna not, stuff like that. Just I'm trying to be. This is a very intentional time for me. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, that makes total sense. And I'm on the same motive. I'm very much on the same plane. Me, I'm not giving up a super specific thing. I'm just being more sacrificial, if that makes sense. Like fasting, but more like intentional, not just always on Friday.
Yeah.
Wednesdays too. Don't need to put sugar in anything. If I don't need it, I don't need to be overeating just to be overeating. No gluttony. Because I didn't have a specific idea. Like I wasn't like, oh, completely no coffee.
It's kind of like we're working on virtues.
I'm working on the idea of having cardinal virtue in my daily practice. Read the Bible more, pray more. Just do as you would, but it doesn't have to be like, I gave up, let's say, social media. It can be that specific, but it doesn't have to be, because I gotta utilize it in such a way that I have to help myself continue to grow. It's still, because in that respect, that helps me grow.
Yeah.
And so I'm just doing more prayer, like you said. And What about you?
Chocolate next.
No, that's lame. No,
Are you really just giving up
Well,
chocolate?
I mean, like,
I
no.
haven't eaten chocolate yet so far, so I'm like, I might
So
as well make
maybe.
it something. But I was just thinking about it earlier, maybe a day or two ago. I was like, and I think this is really what I want to do. It might not make sense at first, but like just to settle.
And, one point to make. You don't
Oh.
have to do your penance, you would call it, right out of the gate. If it comes...
Yeah, you don't always like at Lent, just so everyone knows, because there's always this like stipulation. I have to give something up. I have to give something up.
I failed to give it up.
10
my
gosh. But here's the thing, like Lent is your time to kind of get closer to Christ and prepare for that resurrection and all of that. And so you have to prepare your heart for that. And maybe sacrificing something is not what you're being called to do.
You got to
But-
figure out a way to grow in whatever that is that you're
Yeah.
called to do. Doesn't have to be sacrificial specific.
Yeah.
But as you were saying, Michael.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think maybe a good way to understand is kind of like you were saying, you haven't done Exodus before just because, it's kind of this intense thing. I'm coming out of like years of, kind of an intensity like that, not just Exodus for the past 3 years, but I'm just thinking ever since college. Then I jumped, straight into working for the church, into seminary, then into a job and ministry and all this kind of stuff. And like right now I'm really at this point where I just want to, okay, I don't know how to settle. And so that's kind of actually my focus for this Lent. That being said, I'm not compromising my training. So I'm still running like 34 miles a week at the moment. And then still trying to get as much sleep as possible, but then really just trying to be like, okay, how can I bring some, anxiety down and all this kind of stuff. And I think for me, that would be a huge benefit moving forward to actually learn how to do that.
It actually seems like for each of us, this Lent is like there's like a specific word we're focusing on. So yours seems like peace. Yours seems like growth. Mine is intentionality.
Yeah, I'm on like the side of where Nicole's at.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't necessarily say I'm on like Michael. Like Michael just he's been doing things, it seems, a lot of the time. I haven't been, but I've been intentional, but I haven't actually focused on it.
Yeah.
And then you just seem like you want to learn something and intentionally.
Again, because like for me, I'm in school, so I'm learning a lot about the faith, right? And work is right now, very taxing, and there's a lot happening at work.
Funny enough, tax season.
And so, and I'm trying.
Refunds.
Oh, okay, I'm not getting
IRS.
anything.
IRS. No, I'm kidding.
I'm not getting anything, guys.
I'm just
at
not
all.
going to laugh because when I laugh, it sounds like I'm crying.
You're allowed to laugh. Laughter's a good thing.
Oh, I know, but I don't.
We were definitely watching the
talking about
video
this
back,
earlier.
and we were like,
Do you
what?
like that? Do you like that I bought lemon?
It's just really good.
Lemon's good. Lemon's good.
Oh,
What's your favorite flavor of punchki?
Raspberry.
Okay, I could have gotten those, but I was like, nah.
I had punchki for the first time last Tuesday.
What was your personal?
I had one, and it was raspberry, and Father Joe bought it for me because he's like, you've never had punchki? And I was like, no. He's like, here, eat this. And I'm like, okay. Don't eat food from strangers, but he's a priest, so we have to trust him.
By the way, let's go from a 5 out of 5-star rating.
What?
What's your personal opinion?
On what?
The punchki.
It was like a 4. It was like a glorified donut. I'm sorry. I'm
No,
sorry.
I mean that's exactly what it is. But it's a better version of a glorified donut.
It's a glorified donut.
But for real.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Yeah, there's some very interesting traditions. Now, you have not traveled. Have you traveled anywhere? See the church anywhere else?
Orlando, Florida.
I meant out of the country.
You didn't say.
Okay, sorry.
I will be honest with you. This is so sad. I had the opportunity to go to Poland in 2016.
You did too?
Bro,
But I didn't get to
Bro,
go.
bro, I
Wait,
did-
what happened to you?
I just discerned not.
Oh, that's lame.
And you know what's even more sad?
What?
I went to the consecration mass with Bishop Malone with my friend Josh.
And you didn't go?
And I just did not go. You know why?
Why?
# I wasn't feeling confident enough in knowing what was right thing to do with what the Holy Spirit means to me. You know when the Holy Spirit tells you something and you just know it feels on fire?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know what that was and what the discernment process meant to me. Meaning the discernment process would have been I'm still discerning even though I'm there.
Oh.
So I just didn't go.
So you just didn't go.
And I had
just
plenty of
didn't go.
I had plenty of resources.
Oh, that's rough.
Meaning I had the idea that I could potentially go. My problem was I got medical health issues that I was terrified about how I was going to take care of them as I was gone. Meaning like how I would deal with my medication. And I just had that anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
And so I just didn't go. Because like what was I going to do? Who was going to chaperone me? Where was
Yeah,
I going to
yeah.
sleep?
Well, you were a young adult, right?
I was considered out of high school still.
Okay.
But
So,
I was considered a young adult.
fun fact, I didn't even know this was a thing. I was supposed to go in 2016.
Oh, this story.
And this actually links with what I do for work. So, I work at my parish as a youth minister full time. There's many other layers to this job, but that's the basic understanding. And that trip I was supposed to go to as a participant. Well, St. Greg's hired me. And I
love
was
this.
already like paid and ready to, like I was getting ready to go and stuff like that. My other youth minister that works with me signed the kids up to go to Georgia, the high schoolers. And I was the low boat on the totem pole. And so he was like, Nicole, you can't go to World Youth Day anymore because you have to take the kids to Cove Crest. So I was pulled out of the trip to take high schoolers to Georgia.
I mean, was the experience okay?
It was a very interesting experience, and that can be a whole conversation for another day. Taking high schoolers to Georgia, but I missed out because of that.
Fair.
Yeah, you were there.
Get this.
Okay, so
Were
now,
you there?
I was there.
Ah.
So
okay.
here's where we can go. You didn't go, I didn't go. He went.
It's like the pro-life
Highlight.
stuff.
Highlight it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
highlight.
I was a volunteer. I got to translate for a whole bunch of people between English and Polish. And then I also, highlight was they gave me a chief patrol vest.
Okay.
And so I was one of like 20 in a squad, and they just said, come on, you're going with us. And so as the group of us, we didn't even know where we were going. But then at Łagiwniki, which is the Shrine of the Divine Mercy.
I'm sorry, that's a funny word.
Łagiwniki, I don't know what it translates to.
Łagiwniki.
It's just, we were right underneath the balcony there, lining up the sidewalk, and then Pope Francis was like right there. So that was one of the highlights.
You got to see Pope Franny that
what
close?
is a better highlight was that I got to do with my older brother, Father Paul.
yeah,
That's
that
great.
was awesome.
What would you say Poland needs to be known for?
It's Catholicism,
Well, I mean, like, because of its Catholicism. What?
Divine Mercy,
Yeah, they have a lot of really awesome. Talk about the church in different countries, guys. Like,
Witnesses, JP2.
The way I'm looking at this is my question is to say what Catholicism is, but why is Polish?
why?
That's a good question because Poland is just on fire for the faith.
Yeah.
I think honestly, you would need a historical perspective just from all the suffering that Poland experienced.
Yeah.
So.
And then, which is interesting because I went to Spain to study abroad when I was in college, and totally opposite because in Spain, Catholicism is the country's religion. Like, you know how like some countries have like a religion and like a bird or like, you know, like weird
Like a
things
national
like that.
identity?
Yes, a national religion. Catholicism is the religion in Spain.
Okay, that makes sense.
How many people actually go to mass?
That's true.
Not many.
Not many. And I remember I was in Spain, and I was only 21, like 20 when I went.
Sure.
And every weekend I would try to find where mass was. And I'd say, ¿Dónde está la misma? So where is the mass?
That's how you say it?
¿Dónde está la misma?
I
So
wish I knew
¿Dónde
that.
está? So where is la misma is the mass.
Okay.
And people would laugh at me. They'd be like,
Oh, that's
they'd
so
literally tell
rude.
me, you're too young to go to mass. Why are you going to mass? And in Spain, if you show up late, they actually lock the door on you.
Oh, wow.
So week 1, I couldn't find a mass because no one would help me. Week
Fair.
2, I showed up and they locked the doors on me. Week 3, still couldn't find it. The last week I tried to go, I finally found a mass, and everyone was in shock and awe because I was like young. But it was interesting because the churches were so old and like so much rich tradition versus here, but yet they've lost the heart for it.
I
While
see.
you were going through that list, I was going through the qualifications. Like, was this mortal sin or was this not? I'm just kidding.
I would surely
Fair.
hope not because I tried for 4 weeks.
Let's say one thing that you can say in Polish, because she said something in
Oh,
Spanish.
so I did say something in Spanish.
Oh, we just talked about this today. Wings, like angel wings or something. Skrzydła.
That's a weird word.
I still
that's
can't
fun.
say it.
Yeah, I still don't know how I can.
I know how to say angels.
No offense, it
Angeles?
sounds like I'm saying the S word.
Aniołki.
Aniołki?
No.
That's Polish? That's angels in Polish?
Well, because that sounds like gnocchi,
A
noodles.
little bit. In Spanish,
add an A in the
it's
front.
angeles.
Angeles?
That makes total
You
sense.
don't say the G.
It's a
angeles.
conga.
It sounds more like Latin.
A little bit. Well, because a lot of Spanish is rooted in Latin.
Sounds like
so,
a cognate. Is it a cognate?
Yeah. Well, actually, a lot of English is in Spanish is similar because they're the same root. So
Yeah.
you can like city, ciudad, like
Ciudad.
yeah,
Yeah.
a science, ciencia.
That makes total sense.
So like it's very similar, but I don't know. It's very interesting to see the churches everywhere and how it's different culturally. In Poland, it's like on fire. Spain, I was like, "Where's the people?" And
No,
here it's
okay,
like-
okay. This is my joke for today. It's literally on fire in Yashnaya Góra back in its history.
Oh my gosh! And then we had dinner with some wonderful, lovely Vietnamese sisters.
Today.
Today was a cultural day.
We talked about that.
Yeah, I just think it's so cool.
Yeah, it was delicious.
It was amazing.
It was delicious food, not gonna lie, and they were so cute because they kept trying to feed us.
They're very
and they
very fun.
wanted us to eat all that food, and they were kind of like not mad, but like, come on.
dragon fruit.
Dragon
was-
fruit and guava.
I didn't know anything like that existed in my life.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden you see it and then eat it.
Guys, I actually have a photo. Does everyone want to try to see if I can see it?
don't know if you can show
You're
it.
not gonna-
I don't know. It's just
Just
on
like
here.
push it forward. Something like that.
Something like
Yeah.
that, if that's there.
It really was good. It was really good.
Can I talk about the guitar really quickly?
Oh, of
Never.
course.
You can never talk about your guitar.
A
It's
few
not a
weeks
guitar.
ago, I was with Nicole and Jake at the store, and got this baby over here. This is a Yamaha A3M, so it's mahogany, sunburst style, and you can see the wood on the sides.
On the pickup.
And it actually has a very, very nice pickup,
Yeah.
which is huge.
The tuner, or the volume rockers on the side is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Wait, is that pickup not broken?
Hashtag no.
Hashtag brand new. I hope not.
Oh my gosh.
Hashtag sounds great.
So I'm gonna kind of debut a song here, and I'm not gonna say who, what, why, when, or where, or how with this song. I'm just gonna kind of let you experience it. So I don't know. I'll see.
We might join in if we like it.
Yeah, if you're able to join in,
You want to sit on the
Yo, 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 yo.
hit the record button.
Okay, fine. Don't start without me.
All right. If there was a weird cut,
Wait.
it's Holy Spirit Providence, because that gives me a chance to.
Nail it.
But
We're going to rehash this.
so these guys already had a chance to kind of practice the song a bit. Nothing seems to cut it, no. Nothing is ever filled. No one seems to get it, no. How life is cut and killed. I'm looking, praying, hoping for an answer down the line. No answer shows, but someone comes to mind. There's room for more, won't stop before, can't rest or floor this need in me to adore. My soul needs fire, my soul's desires, finding someone who can cut the pangs and show what is in store. That thing divine with grace divine, the love of mine above this mind, and people trying to say there is no answer, no divine. Though my eyes cannot see God's might and majesty, faith fills up this need, and my heart does believe. How do I raise my eyes and bow my head? It seems so contrary. To go to church and join the crowd just seems so stir crazy. First sit and stand, please sing, hold hands, then recite the Nicene Creed. Why am I a Catholic? Why believe? Though my eyes cannot see God's might and majesty, faith fills up this need, and my heart does believe. Though my eyes cannot see God's might and majesty, faith fills up this need, and my heart does believe. He's in front of me. 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 Blessing, honor, glory, power, might, and majesty. Holy, holy, holy Lord, I'll pray eternally. With angel saints I lift my voice and fall on bended knee. A humble soul I come up to receive. Though my eyes cannot see God's might and majesty, faith fills up this need, and my heart does believe. Though my eyes cannot see God's might and majesty, faith fills up this need, and my heart does believe. Though my eyes cannot see God's might and majesty, faith fills up this need, and my heart does believe. There it is. Song in a nutshell.
There we go.
Chance to redeem.
Guys, I sang.
Oh my, wait. He's saying.
I sang.
Wow.
Funny, he's the only one not sitting on a cajon right now. The drummer.
And he's the drummer.
But it's technically a throne. For
A
drum.
little bit.
You are technically sitting on a drum throne.
And it has it like a, watch this. I'm going to see you later.
See it?
I gotta
Here you
find
go.
it. Where is
Here you
it?
go. Where's the button?
I'm still here.
But yeah, no, I don't know. Do you want to give some context a little bit, like what's it about?
Oh,
We're
yeah,
talking about the Eucharist and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, just in a nutshell, like I've always had the blessing of kind of like understanding the belief in the true presence of Christ in the Eucharist. But I guess there's a difference even between understanding but then believing. But I mean, I've always been blessed to kind of have that grace to believe too. So yeah.
I got a burp. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
So reverent. Wow.
Okay.
Sorry.
So for me, I totally had a different experience growing up. I was not raised in like a truly practicing Catholic household. That could be a story for like a different time, but I never understood the true presence of Jesus in the Eucharist like at all until I was like 16. So for me, I didn't fully get that whole like this is Jesus thing until I went on a retreat that I was forced to go on. I think I got forced to go on. I don't know. I just got signed up for it. And it was through adoration, actually. I was like 15, 16 years old, and I'm sitting there, and everyone's like crying over this piece of bread. And I was like, I'm hungry. I want to eat it.
I get you.
And I didn't understand why everyone was like freaking out about this like thing. And because no one taught me growing up that was Jesus. And so I was like, all right, well, I had a lot of rough stuff happen in my life. And I was like, fine, if y'all think this is Jesus, I'm going to be a punky kid. I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, hi, Jesus. Be all sassy.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was good at. And he's like, great, here I come. So
Fair.
in the middle of adoration, I was just like sitting there sobbing once I realized I'm like, wow, that's really Jesus. That's who he is. And it totally changed my perspective going to Mass and going to adoration and receiving the Eucharist from that moment on. It was like totally eye-opening once you realize who that really is. Yeah.
So Ryan, what's your I believe in Jesus in the Eucharist moment?
Well, faith formation, getting taught the factual information through the Bible. You understand that, you learn the context, it feels good. Then you'll go to a Mass service, and it's like, what are you talking about? Until once, like, how do I explain it? It was an adoration moment. I would say there's always been an adoration moment, but it's vaguely enough to just say that. But it's like when you go to Mass, I experience, like, I don't have a true story. I just have a
like a build-up into understanding?
I don't have a true story. I have an understanding of the real presence during just the everyday going to Mass. I don't really have a good story.
It's okay.
It's kind of.
I think that's
it's because
awesome.
you've matured in your faith. Because people think that like when they come to the faith and like, because I remember coming to the faith and I was so overwhelmed by all of the church stuff. There was so much to the faith. And I felt really stupid because I didn't understand any of it. And no one ever taught it to me. So it can be overwhelming when you like are actually practicing and there's so much to like wrap your mind around. And so it really does take time to understand it and believe it. So that's okay if you're like, it just was a buildup. And then at one day, oh my goodness.
Either that or like, I think, it just sounds like the grace was always there to kind of believe. And I think ultimately it really is a grace. That belief, and you can sometimes kids just understand way sooner than adults do, or sometimes it hits an adult when they didn't understand as a kid, so it could go either way.
So the basic premise for my story is that it was an adoration moment, but it was very like I can't translate it, and then the everyday graces of just going to that Mass service on Sunday.
That's powerful.
And it's just a thing, and like you just know something is there.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to put into words. It's all because you know how we always have the mystery of faith, understanding of not being able to explain yourself.
Yeah.
That's my personal understanding of
And trust me, you have a lot of Catholics don't even believe that that's Jesus. So
yeah, I mean, so the refrain of the song kind of builds off of what St. Thomas Aquinas said. He wrote the lyrics to the Tantum Ergo, which is a traditional Catholic hymn, which is sung at the end of adoration.
Is he the one that wrote that? Because
yes.
Because I know he wrote a lot of hymns.
Well, he wrote the Panjalingua, and the last two verses are what we know as the Tantum Ergo Sacramentum and all
That's
that.
good coffee.
But it says that faith supplies what senses fail to see. And so those are just really powerful lines that are kind of translated in just like loose English in that song we just heard. So
Yeah, no, I would definitely recommend an adoration as a good segue to start yourself out.
yeah. And we get to be with Jesus every Mass, which is pretty cool.
It's amazing.
Not gonna lie.
That's why when you hear Mass start, it's like welcome to like the supper or like welcome to the table.
Because it's Jesus.
Yeah, so it's about the feast of his body and blood in the true
There it
presence.
is. Which can sound weird if you're not a Catholic.
And
But
then yeah, no, we're not physically.
we're not cannibals.
Who wants to kind of go about that?
in the first centuries of the Catholic Church, you know, in Rome and stuff, they were persecuted on that very point. You know,
Yep.
people were they were persecuted on the basis of and martyred on the basis of cannibalism when that's
Yeah.
not in fact what they did. It's a hard thing to say. Yes, it is the body and blood of Jesus Christ that I'm eating and drinking, but it's not cannibalism.
Moral theology would say that he lets us do it.
Jesus only makes it harder in John 6:6.
Yeah.
Or John 6:66. What is it?
John
6:6?
6.
Is that the one where he's like, you must eat of my
76.
flesh and that one?
Yes.
Okay.
You must like, and he like if you look at
Are
the
you talking
Greek, it's
about-
like you must gnaw on my flesh, and it's like, why would you be
Nah, bruh.
so like dramatic, Jesus? It's
Yeah.
not cool, but he does it anyway.
But he kind of has to like call people out and be like, no, I'm serious. Like, I'm not joking. This isn't just no symbol. This is real. Like,
I mean, it was a similar circumstance. I mean, people were coming him. He was feeding the multitudes of just bread, and they were like, "We just want more bread." He's like,
We're going with John 6.
"We gotta go deeper here."
are you talking about the final life discourse?
John-
Final,
John
oh my
6:66?
gosh, bread discourse? Oh,
No, it's definitely in John 6. It's
Where do you want to go with? Just give me a.
what is this verse?
No, this is
Go-
the actual. No, I already did John 6, and then what?
Go to. Is there 66?
Yeah, there is.
Oh, then go there.
This is the NABRE translation.
Okay.
So it says, as a result of this, many of his disciples.
what's the one before?
Okay, so it's just before 64 and 65. So, but there are some of you who do not believe.
No.
No,
I know exactly
my-
what he's looking for.
My
Okay.
quote was closer.
Well, no, you're good. We'll find it. It's just that we're a little off on the
Keep
verse.
talking.
We're
oh, here
Catholics.
it is. Wait.
Well, I have it
Whoever eats my flesh and drinks my blood has eternal life. And okay, it's close.
hashtag. I had it actually
For my
highlighted.
flesh, actually, it's true. For my flesh is true food, my blood is true drink. Whoever eats my flesh and drinks my blood remains in me, and I in him. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
all that
whole
is there.
line.
And then the verse I was mentioning, the 66, says many disciples turned away after hearing this, and
Yep.
he didn't call him back and said like, guys, it wasn't meant to be taken literally. He didn't
As
do
a
that.
result,
He let them go.
as a result, many of his disciples returned to their former ways of life and no longer accompanied him.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, he didn't be like I was just kidding, April Fools, y'all. But no, he was like, no, like this is real. It's real.
Yeah, like we're just gonna do this for like a little bit of time, just for fun.
Yeah, no. I don't know. It definitely was super enlightening when I came to that realization that it's Jesus, because I never want to leave the faith because I don't want to leave Jesus.
Exactly.
Like, I'm just saying.
I will say the feeling of knowing that, like you're saying, feels much more like uplifting and inviting and very really like a really appreciative.
Yeah, that's why going to it sounds cliche, but going to adoration is one of my favorite things. Like I love just to like sit there in a non-conventional way, you know, just right in front and just like even if I don't know what to pray, just like sit there because he's there.
Yeah. I like to just sit on the floor and just say hi.
And yes, there's reverence by being quiet, but you can do whatever heck you want.
That's right, because he just wants to talk to you.
Yeah, he actually misses us right now.
Yeah. Well, we hung out with him at Mass.
I mean, theoretically, yes, but I'm
There you
saying
go.
like, in every sense of the word, pray as much as possible is basically what he wants us to
Yeah.
do.
Well, I feel like we could talk about this for literally 12 days.
It's a good note to end on though, if that's
Yeah.
what you're thinking.
Well, that's where the Spirit led us. So
Okay.
the Eucharist is cool, guys.
Um,
Powerful, and it's Jesus.
And happy Lent, everyone.
Happy Lent.
Happy Lent.
Do you say Happy Lent?
I mean, you can celebrate Lent in that way.
I think happy is more appropriate to Ash Wednesday.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, let's put it this way. Have a good Lent, everyone.
Have a good Lent. Jesus loves you. Go to Mass. Receive Him in the Eucharist. And you
Have a
should.
blessed Lent.
Yeah, there
I
it
think
is.
That's it.
Blessed Lent.
Polish, Jezu ufam tobie, Jesus, I trust in you, etc. Anything in Spanish?
No. Me encanta Jesus.
Amen.
Stole my Polish, so I don't know.
You got to pick a different language.
I don't know.
Vietnamese.
I'll do English.
Vietnamese.
That's actually another language, bro.
It is. I'll save it. That's okay.
Well, I
Thank
hope
you.
you enjoyed watching us. You should all subscribe.
Yeah, we'll put it here.
There, around, I don't know.
Listen to our music. So our music video is actually a separate video this week. So make sure you
Yeah,
click
we
up
might start
there,
doing-
wherever that is. I think it's up there.
We'll do a new format. We feel like we were going to split them up.
Yep. And then at the very bottom, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell.
That's me punching the bell.
If I could, yeah, no, like this.